Okay, I'm going to make a video here that's going to it's going to kind of be fun to hear some remarks on. First of all, please forgive the glaring sun. Just happens to be the way I sit. That the sun is going down over here, and I've noticed that it's like whiting me out. Okay, it's blaring in my side. And I'm not going to sit here and wait for a couple hours for the sun to go down in order to have a better lighting scenario. So, I'm making these videos here like this on my laptop because I have really started to enjoy doing this, and from the beginning I said I want people to see who I am in here. I don't have the money, and I'm not going to spend it even if I had it, to go have all this fancy, high-priced stuff done. I like this basic, one-on-one, we're sitting here talking type of scenario. Because if you vote for me, I want you to vote for me because this is who I am. Not because I went and spent a bunch of money to make it look like I'm somebody I'm not. With that, this video is about Planned Parenthood. Oh my gosh, heads are fixing to explode. One thing that it's been funny to kind of watch is, well, no, let's change that. It's not, and when I said funny, I didn't mean hilarious, I meant ironic. But is the funding, federal funding of Planned Parenthood. I had a question which has been answered on my Facebook page. I had a guy ask me if I was pro-life or pro-choice. And I have received some really, yeah, I knew when I got into this that I was going to have to deal with some people who were really touched in the head. And I've had some really nasty remarks to me. I had a guy call me racist over something that had nothing to do with race. I had one guy write a remark on my Facebook page, call me a Republican puke. And it's kind of silly how the liberals have such blinders on. If you're not agreeing with their way of doing things, then you're all these stupid names. And I've made some remarks back to some of these folks with an intention of, alright, I'm being a little bit of an antagonist, okay? It's actually been funny to listen to them remark back. So, all of that being said, we're getting into Planned Parenthood, which should really get me some good exploding head remarks. One remark was, I saw one post that said, if the NRA owns the Republican Party, then Planned Parenthood owns the Democrat Party. Well, you know what? I agree with that. Because ever since a couple years ago, when all the stuff about Planned Parenthood selling aborted fetuses and stuff like that all came out and about, and everything started exploding about the government funding of Planned Parenthood. My opinion on Planned Parenthood is that they deserve absolutely a single zero penny of federal money. Now, the argument in that aspect is this. Planned Parenthood does not use federal taxpayer dollars for abortions because we all know that that's illegal. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Only non-liberal Democrats know that that's illegal. They don't quite comprehend legalities sanctuary cities is a perfect example. We're going to get into that in another video. But we all understand that it is against federal law for federal dollars to be used for abortions. And so Planned Parenthood says we don't use federal money for abortions. That's horse manure. Okay? The reason why I say that is it's really simple, folks. If you and your wife have a joint bank account, you take your paycheck on Friday and you put it in that account. She takes her paycheck on Friday and puts it in that account. And then you write your bills out of that one account. Whose money paid those bills? Don't know. Because all the money is in a single account. So it's all mixed together. So when you write a check for your bills out of that account, it doesn't come from a single person. If you and her had made the decision, honey, I'll pay the bills, I'll pay the mortgage or rent, I'll pay the electric bill and the utilities, you buy the groceries and pay for gas in the cars. If both of you put your money into the same account, whose money paid the mortgage, paid the utilities, and paid for the gas? There's no way to determine that. Planned Parenthood has a central account. Okay, now I'm sure probably each store might have their own account, or each facility might have its own account that the central account funds. When Planned Parenthood receives donations, it goes into that account. When they receive their funding from the government, it goes into that account. And out of that combined account, they distribute money to the individual facilities. So, whose money went to that facility to pay for the abortions? Don't know. If you want to prove to me that federal money does not get used for abortions, then you need to establish a second account. That is called the abortion account. And the only money that goes in that account is donations. Then, when each facility performs an abortion, they charge that account for the cost. Okay? If you can show me that, and you keep those records very good, then I have no problem with federal dollars going to Planned Parenthood. But as it is established right now, that's not how it's done. Because it's like any typical other organization. Okay? So do I believe Planned Parenthood should be unfunded by the government? Yes. And there's another reason for that. Planned Parenthood brings in more money than it spends through donations and other such items. So what does it need federal money for? Now, the argument about Planned Parenthood is this. It provides health care for women. Okay. Provides the same health care that any other free clinic in any neighborhood does. But my point of disagreement with Planned Parenthood, look at the name, folks. It's called Planned Parenthood. If you're providing an abortion as birth control, You kind of failed at the planned part, didn't you? You did a piss poor job planning for that young lady to not get pregnant. Planned Parenthood means that you deal with young ladies in looking out for their health. And part of that should be, are you sexually active? Yes. Do you want to get pregnant? No. Then we need to do this in order to prevent a pregnancy. I know liberals have this thing they don't understand, this big word that liberals have a problem with. They have no clue what it means. It's called common sense. Maybe that's 2 words. Okay? Common sense would tell you if you don't want to get pregnant, then you take preventative measures to stop it and to keep it from happening. And Planned Parenthood would be in the business of working with young ladies if they don't wish to get pregnant and educating them and providing for them means to prevent a pregnancy. Not going in there and saying, well, if you get pregnant, come back, we'll abort the baby. Abortion is not birth control. It's murder. After the fact. Okay? Now, if I just made your head explode, oh well. I am an anti-abortion as birth control person. Now, I keep specifying abortion as birth control, and we'll get to that in a minute. Okay? So, my position on Planned Parenthood is to take federal dollars away. Until you can either show me 2 separate accounts. One is by donations, and that's the only account that money is pulled out of to pay for the abortions at your clinic. And you do a better job teaching kids how not to get pregnant. We need to restructure. Planned Parenthood, I think to get federal dollars should have to be restructured. Their educational plan, their health care plan for young women should be restructured to where it actually is effective in taking care of these young ladies. It's that simple. Now, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to let you go, because I don't think there's anything else I need to expand on that. When I say I disagree with Planned Parenthood, oh yeah, that was something I had several remarks on that on what I said about, I don't believe in women's rights. Yeah, I do. You have all the rights in the world to your body. The problem is that baby's not your body. That baby is the baby's body. It's a child. It's a whole different person. And until you call that baby up and say, hey, do you want to live or do you want to die? And that baby says, kill me. Then you can have an abortion. I do not agree with abortion for birth control. Period. I never have. It's not that I've flipped, flopped, or anything else. This has been my attitude my entire life. Now people, oh, you're going to go in and try to change birth control. No, look, birth control is the law of the land. I can't change that. Just because I disagree with the law doesn't mean I'm not going to support the law. That was another comment I had made. Senator's supposed to uphold the law. It doesn't matter what they personally think. Oh, I understand that. Now, what you liberals need to do is tell the freaking governor of California and Attorney General of California the same freaking thing. Just because they disagree with the law doesn't mean they can freaking thumb their nose at it and not enforce it. Their job is to enforce the laws whether they like them or not. Same thing with sanctuary cities, which we're going to get into in the next video. You can't have it both ways, folks. You can't say, oh, we'll just have sanctuary cities. We'll break the federal law because we disagree with it. But you can't disagree with the law. You have to enforce the law even if you disagree with it on abortions. You can't have both ways. But as a senator, I'll enforce the laws and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America as it's written and as the laws are written, which means, yeah, we'll get into some of that stuff in a minute, in another video. Even though I disagree with abortion, I am not and I cannot change the law. Okay? But where I say I disagree with abortion is birth control. Especially in today's society, we have so many different means of birth control to prevent pregnancy. You need to look at doing that. Alright? If you get pregnant, carry the baby through, give it up for adoption. There's so many people out there who can't have children that want them. There are so many parents who would give that baby such a loving home. Let that baby have a loving home. Let those people have a child to love. That's more important than killing it. Now, that's abortion is birth control. No. There are 3 instances that I will understand abortion on. And that is rape, incest, and the mother's life's in danger. Those are extenuating circumstances. And I know a lot of evangelicals will still gig me on that one, but folks, that's just the way I believe. If a girl is raped or in cases of incest, those are some traumatic, emotionally traumatic things. And she's going to have to live with that trauma the rest of her life as it is. If she becomes pregnant from that, I commend the women who carry the child through term and keep the child and raise it. And I've heard some women say, I read an article about a woman who did that. She had a child from a rape incident. And she said it wasn't the child's fault. So why punish the child? That kid had nothing to do with it. That's the same thing as abortion as birth control. That kid had absolutely nothing to do with coming into this world. That was you and the person you slept with's decisions. That child had nothing to do with it. It is the product of your actions. Why are you punishing the child? There's women who take the child through term and give it up for abortion in cases of rape or incest. Because that child will be a physical reminder. They've already got the emotional scars, but now they have a physical reminder the rest of their lives of that traumatic experience. So, abortion in those cases, I can understand. Not that I always 100% agree, because like I said, I do commend the women who carry that child to term. That is a tremendous sacrifice to do that. And they should be applauded for it. But again, I say I agree with them. And I'll stand behind them on that. In the case of the mother's life's in danger, well, that's a decision to be made between the mother, her husband, and their physician. Taking in all the information as to the circumstances of the pregnancy, what creates the hazard to the mother's life. I told my wife, ex-wife now, but when we were married, she got pregnant with my daughter. I told her that during the pregnancy, because we come up with this, when you have a baby like that, when you get pregnant, it's got to be something that you need to discuss with your significant other. Because I don't care how healthy you are, I don't care how the situation is. During that pregnancy, anything in the world could go wrong. And it could come down to having to make that decision. Your life for the child. And I told her, this was my personal feelings, that if the doctors told me I had to make the decision as her husband, her life for the child's gone. You see, I love my wife. I wouldn't have married her otherwise. So the point is this. There's only one her. We could try for another baby. But there's only one her. So if I, as a husband, had to make the decision, I would let the child go and keep her. But again, that's a situation that has to be discussed between the parents, the physician, and depending on the circumstances. So those are the three scenarios. Rape, incest, and a life's mother's in danger. I do not have an issue with abortion in those three cases. But my problem stands with abortion as birth control. And Planned Parenthood was established with one thing in mind, and that was to eradicate the black community. If you don't believe me, look it up. The lady who founded Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, was a racist. Her whole point was to eradicate the black community. Now, I'm not trying to bring... Well, I just did, okay? I brought race into it. But the thing is Planned Parenthood has gotten so it's out of whack. Again, like I said, the name is Planned Parenthood. And if you're providing abortions, you're doing a poor job at planning. The goal is to prevent. Or when a girl comes in and says, yes, I'm ready to be a mother, then help educate her in how to have a healthy pregnancy and have a healthy baby. That's where women's health does come into play. But killing a baby because it's unwanted has nothing to do with a woman's health. Get your figures right.